Okay,
Yeah, that,
welcome back to the podcast, people. Why are you interrupting my intro, bro?
hey,
Nah, I'm playing.
big pause.
I know. Welcome back to the podcast. Here with your boys from Inspyre, the Paper Trails podcast, Mohamed and Shamaki once again. And today we're going to be doing a little bit of a different one, an interesting one, I would say. So we did a little video where we went into Hampstead and we went into the charity shop and we just picked a random book each, just purely based on the cover. So we judged the book by its cover. That's the series name. And in today's episode, we're actually going to be reviewing the books that we picked. It'll be interesting because I picked a completely different one from what you picked.
Yeah.
And so I picked one called I'll Never Be Young Again by Daphne du Maurier, published in the 1930s. I like the art style was the thing that attracted me. But I think the name got me, man.
Never be young yet.
Yeah, is year 30 for me this year.
What?
Oof, damn.
God damn.
I know. And I just thought, you know what, that's speaking to me.
Yeah.
Speaking to me. What about you?
Nah, my one's right here. This cheeky old fellow. The Painted Veil
Yeah.
by Somerset Maugham.
Yours looks even more ancient than mine, bro.
No, this one is ancient. I mean, the guy
mine's-
wrote it in 1925. But
Yeah.
it feels like
When did you drop it?
remained.
So you dropped it in 1925?
Yeah.
Okay, this is pre-World War II, yeah?
Bro, the pages are yellow. I know thousands of people
This
touched
is
it out.
more yellow than Homer Simpson. Like, goddamn.
Yeah, I know. My word.
Yeah, so, but before we do that, let's talk about the book club.
Mm.
We finally launched our first ever book club.
Yes, sir.
The event link went out live 1 day and a half ago. In less than 48 hours, we sold out. And yeah, man. Just want to say,
God, bro.
wow.
Hey.
You know what? I expected it.
Oh, goodness.
I'm an entitled fella.
I mean,
That's how they know me.
it's somewhat you expected, I would say.
Nah, I fully expected it.
Hey,
I know our
after the
sport.
first day, I think you expected
Nah. I knew from before. I always said to you,
Yeah,
if we do an event, we're going to sell out
yeah.
because I know our supporters are very strong.
No,
And
absolutely.
our people, we've what do you call it? I would say we've developed a good network and a lot of good connections who actually do put the money where the mouth is.
Yeah, no, it's
And
great.
for us, like the idea behind it wasn't like trying to do a paid event just because we want to make money.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a book club, but we're gonna make sure that people are serious about it as well. So people who are coming, they're paying money and they're gonna make sure that they go out of their way to come to support us, which is the feedback kind of we got from other people who run book clubs and other
Yeah. I
events.
think that's what even Umna from what she was saying, that if it wasn't paid for, then people wouldn't come.
Yeah. And we want to reward those people as well. So I designed a bunch of goodies. Shamaki hasn't seen that yet, so it's going to be interesting to see your reaction.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's it's gonna be good to see. I have full faith.
Yeah. Do you?
I mean, I have to.
He's got zero choice in the creative direction of this, but he's going to be paying for it. So, so we want to say thank you to everyone for sharing and supporting. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
And it'll be a new chapter for us.
No,
A
absolutely.
new chapter.
And I feel like what we've kind of been trying to create as well for a long time is like this scene for creatives and for people that are interested in reading and all this other kind of stuff to kind of actually bring it together in a physical space where we can discuss the books and stories and things that actually have a meaning towards us. So the fact that now that we actually have it running and going, we want it to be a place where people meet other people that like are in their field, and like an writer might meet a publisher, a director might meet an actor. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a hub that we're essentially trying to create with this book club. But I guess it's a bit more than that because we've got quizzes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We got food.
We've got food,
Oh, sweet stuff.
prizes,
We got,
and
we got
goodies.
sweets and treats and Somali Shah,
Absolutely.
which is our favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, shout out
And
to
what
Somali
a
Shah.
combination is? It's basically
What we got to ask a question. Why are Somali men built like that?
like a bowling pin.
Yeah,
Hey,
some like a bowling pin, some like a pear. You know,
it's all like a pair. I mean, it depends. It's just
Some like-
because
well-
it's the Shah.
yeah, it's that Somali team.
With small shoulders, it doesn't make sense. You know, we don't even have the opportunity to be big boned and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. It's just
Yeah,
primed for the desert.
yeah, indeed.
You know what I mean?
So, yeah, that tea is special, and so we're gonna be having some treats, sweets, quizzes. one quiz and a winner of the quiz, and everybody who attends is gonna get a goodie bag custom made by yours truly, which will be nice to see. It'll be like a full circle moment for me as the designer.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're really looking forward to it.
An absolute wholesome
Exactly,
time.
exactly. Which is what we've been here for from the jump. Aesthetic productivity, you know. So yeah, that's the book club, and we'll see you guys in roughly 3 weeks. But when this drops, it'll be about a week and a half or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get into this. Very interesting.
I can't lie, I'm very interested in your book review.
Yeah,
because that book there,
you want to know, no?
The names screaming to me after I saw it.
Should I tell you what? Yeah. Like, I'll give you an overall gist. Yeah, just in the interest of time. I've got a lot of notes. Yeah. Like, I think both of us agreed, like, off camera, like, these books written in that time, it's like every single detail had to be shown by force, you know? Like, if I'm talking about, like, the color of this book cover, I would just say it's black. It's got a little orange-red accent here for the penguin logo and, like, a yellow blurb. Yeah. But them guys will be like, it was the color of the midnight sky, just off the rough breeze is falling over my skin. You know, that's kind of stuff they'll be talking about. Like every single thing has to be described in about 5 paragraphs minimum. Right. Which I think you can explain, can't you?
I feel like having been chewing on that thought for a while now, I was thinking, why is that? But then I think it's if you've got a book back in the time, right? That's your escapism right there. You ain't got YouTube, you ain't got TikTok, you ain't got nothing. So I feel like if it was very bland, it wouldn't be able to immerse the person enough. So therefore, I feel like they coating on so many things because that's just what the people wanted. That's what the people needed at the time. But us, we're overstimulated. Our brains cooked. We're like, yo, how can you not condense this any further? Like, I'm sick and tired of reading this. But to them, that's all they had. So they might even go back to it. Might even say this isn't enough. You know, so it's
he's saying it's got to be an extra 200 pages minimum.
Actually, yes, more in there. But I think now we've got some sort of like ADHD brain. That like my guy here, Somerset. Where did he love that stuff? But I think what he would do as well is get into the thought of like the person. So he would be just saying, and so when she was younger, she liked this and this and this, and she met this person.
So the character building.
Yeah, but it's like sometimes it's just a bit too convoluted. Too much.
For me, it was the dialogue. It's like he'll be giving you lines and lines, and it's the language as well. Like, I like if I pull out an example, but it'll just straight away. Like, so what do you go for? Oh, just to see. I tried anything once. I got horse's dick. Listen, I'll make a fool of myself riding. That doesn't matter. How do you pay from? Like, you know, in films when
I'll be honest with you, what the hell did you just say?
that's what I'm saying.
That was 1.2 voice right there.
1.5, bro. You know when like in films where people will start like having a little dialogue and they go back and forth, and sometimes in films like for example Suits, the show, like I always felt like it was unrealistic the way they talk to each other because they always have a witty response. Everybody has a witty response to every single line. I'm like, bro, like give it a rest, man. Nobody talks like that in real life.
No, absolutely.
But that's how it kind of felt in this. So like for me, like just trying to get into the book, which is like I think it's the 3rd book I've read this year. I've not read that much, so I'm trying to read more. So I kind of appreciate like just starting this series, and I'm trying to force it a bit more. Following enough book podcast, but how often do we read?
First,
not often enough, to be fair.
Not as often as people think.
I think people have the idea that we're just we're
obviously chewing up.
We're literally sitting on the bookshelf, and, like reading books upside down and whatnot. Like we're in the kitchen cooking it and like this and what Nah, we don't read that much. You don't read enough. Which is why we're doing this. Kind of encourage us to read more. But I would say, I don't think I've got like a bad attention span. But this one, it tested me. It tested my attention span. Like I had to put my phone in like 2 rooms away. I had to put it in the toilet, bro. That's not really sure. I had to put it in a bag with a safe, everything. Like it was tough to get into it in the beginning. But funny enough, like I would say the beginning was the most interesting or most action filled for me.
Well, let's hear it, man.
Oh man.
Hey, let's hear this book.
Right. So
enough suspense.
So basically, the main character is called Richard, and the book starts with the boy he's about to commit suicide.
Oh,
So he's about to commit suicide.
yeah,
Bleak start.
yeah.
I'm like, but that caught my attention straight away. I was like, God damn, what's going on here? Because first he's just talking about the lake and whatnot, not the lake, the river. Like he's just talking about the rappers that he's viewing. Like he's at a bridge.
First person.
Yeah. Now most of the book is in his first person basically. He's like, when I say main character, he was. Like I heard every single thought this guy ever thought. Like that pissed me off. I didn't like the guy one bit. Yeah, because he just seemed like a punk to me. One thing that I was gonna say, so the whole book is basically like a coming of age story written by a female author in the 1930s about a man whose father is a famous writer. He's like his dad is like, if he was alive today, he'll basically be like what's her name, flipping J.K. Rowling times 3. Like he's like number 1. Like, he's making bread. Yeah. And then his mom is just like, she was like some kind of like fan for the man before they got married. She was like his biggest fan. Yeah. So he just sees his parents as like one guy who just he's so elite and so like he feels like so he feels that being the pressure of his son is just so immense. Like he just feels like his self-worth is just his self-worth is in the bottom of flipping Antarctica, bro, like the Mariana Trench. The deepest part of the earth. So he's like his self-esteem is shocking, like terrible, and everything he thinks about is very pessimistic. He's young, but he's extremely pessimistic. So of course suicide is something that he'll come to. And then the book's kind of describing him about to like take the jump basically. Now he's on a bridge. He's literally about to pull himself over, and then someone grabs him. This is like, chill out, bro. Like,
how you doing?
What the hell are you doing, man? Life is good. Life is good, man. Life is good, man. And I own a boat, so I don't want to be dealing with that later. But now I'm playing. He didn't say that, but so he's saved from suicide by a stranger. It's called Jake, and he's basically becomes a mentor figure for this guy. Where first he's just being petulant when he's speaking to Jake. Like Jake's like, yo, why you trying to jump, bro? Like what happened? And then he's telling the guy like life is dead, man. Like nothing to be happy about, nothing. Blah blah blah. He's bare complaining. And he's like, but you don't understand, man. You don't understand nothing, bro. Like everything I say to you is probably just like coming in for one ear and going out the other. You just think, oh, I'm just being young, blah blah blah. Because the guy's like, oh, you're young, man. Like you live life. Like there's so much to look forward to. He's like, oh, you just think I'm just a young guy that doesn't know anything. Like I know who I am. I know what like there's nothing to live for. And then the guy is like the guy's bare nonchalant. He's just giving him like very stoic responses, and he's kind of disarming the main character in a very casual way. But he hasn't given anything about himself at all. Like he hasn't given anything away. And then finally the kids like all right, say no more. Like I've had bloody enough. Or like, what am I gonna do, man? Like who even are you, bro? Like who even are you? And then. And why would you understand? Like, what do you care for? And the guy's like, he's like, where have you been in your life? What have you done with your life? To the guy, to the mental figure. And the mental figure's like, well, I was in prison for the last 5 years. So everything you just talked about, like living in a flipping manor. He was living in a manor. Like everything you talk about, like that sounds bad to me, to you, sounds like heaven to me. So that was like, oh,
I was surviving every night.
So then that shut the kid out straight away. He's like, God damn, man. He looked away. Couldn't keep his eye contact anymore, you know. And then so like he asked him, so like, what should I do then? Like I hate my life. Like like clearly you've had a crap life. So like, how do you deal with it? What should we do? And the guy was just like, let's just be active in it. Let's go out and about, do stuff in it. So they embarked on a whole bunch of adventures. They're just like, bun it.
Teamed up.
They teamed up. He's just like, bun it, man. Like, if you don't want to be around your family, you don't want to live here, just come with me. Like, and he's like, where are you going? He's like, I don't know. I'm just going to freestyle it. This is written in the 1930s. So literally guys they could just literally abandon their life and freestyle. He's like, bun it. Let's there's a dock there. Let's go to one of these ships, see if they need any workers. So they basically go find a ship and they become sailors of a ship called Hedwig, funnily enough.
Hedwig.
Okay. Funnily enough, mentioning J.K. Rowling. But Hedwig didn't get enough love, I feel. You know?
R.I.P.
R.I.P. But so they become sailors. And they go to like Scandinavia. Like he becomes like a full-fledged sailor. Before he was just like a little punk boy, like just a rich kid, like who he had everything given to him, but he was still unhappy. happy, unsatisfied with his life. For some reason, he had this feeling that his dad just didn't rate him whatsoever, the way he talked to him. That his dad was always in his book, so he didn't really give him time. So he kind of felt like one of them rich kids that getting neglected, basically.
Yeah.
And then and then he becomes a sailor. So he's like really learning the world now. He's learning how to steer a ship. He's learning how to do shifts with the what do you call them? You should know, the deckhands and whatnot. So this guy, if you talk to him about ships and whatnot, he'll do a whole podcast. Man, see, he's laughing at me. But anyways, what's the captain's second in command called? Is it literally second in command?
No, it's not. It's not come to me now. He's got a specific name.
You're not a real Somali, mate. But yeah, so he learns how to steer a ship. He learns how to clean it. He learns how to put the sails up. He learns how to he learns how to banter with the boys. The boys, like the sailors, you know, the sailor mouth. They're always swearing and whatnot. That's what they call it. What they call it, sailor mouth?
I don't know if they call it sailor. What the hell is a sailor mouth?
No, there's a certain term that you swear like a sailor, innit? Like
I ain't heard that. We're gonna have to VAR on that one, brother. We'll have a look. We'll have a look on that.
Yeah, he learns how to banter with the boys. Yeah. He's in there. Yeah. And then he's learning. And then eventually they hit like somewhere in Scandinavia, like Norway or something. Yeah. And then they're like, all right, guys, like the mission of the ship is done. Like, we came to transport some stuff or blah, blah, blah. Yeah. We're done. Like, time is up now. Like, so what are you guys going to do? And then the mentor, by the way, the whole time he's learning from the mentor figure. He's like, he's just like basically going on, like taking him under the ropes, whatever they call it. I don't know why. Every single phrase I'm saying right now, it decided it's sus.
No, I don't know why you're questioning.
I don't know. Yeah. Anyways,
I feel like I've heard that.
You heard that one? Yeah. I'm not making it up. Takes him on the road, yeah. So, so they touch Norway, and they're like, "What's next?" So the mental figure is like, "Let's just explore, innit? Like we saved a bit of money here. I got a bit of money, cash, like I've saved in my locker. Let's just explore." He pulls out a massive map. He's like, all right, cool. So like I've heard about these fjords in Norway or something, like these big lakes are very beautiful, and the mountains and all this. Let's basically do a little like a trek, but like for weeks. We'll go to different little villages, just stay in random places, just rough it the whole way.
Oh, word. Yeah.
And then the kids, like throughout the whole thing, you're just kind of seeing the change of character that this kid is having, and like, conflict of thoughts that he's having. So like, first he hated his life in the big city. Well, he wasn't actually in the city. He was like in the suburbs, basically, like or something.
That's where the rich people.
Yeah. So then like he hated that life, and then he suddenly like he went onto the ship and he started loving that life that he never wanted to end. He's always like clinging on to things. He's always clinging on to things. Like he's a bit childish, you know, because he's like he's very nostalgic, but he's also always thinking about the future. He's always analyzing things. He's people watching. He's like, oh, I wonder what this guy's life was about. He's always deep in things too much. But the ship gave him a sense of purpose. Yeah, so he loved it. That's what he loved about it. So he was thinking, how on earth? What the hell am I going to do on this flipping mountain? Like, I like you, Jake, but like, bro, you think we're going to be walking for weeks and weeks? Like, what the hell are we going to do? But yeah, they start and they're going through all these little adventures, and he actually starts to enjoy it. Like he starts finding that peace, that inner peace that he's always kind of wanted. And he just keeps on saying to Jake, like, oh, I wish this would never end, man. Like let's just keep going, man. And Jake's a guy who's just like, he's just chill. He goes with the flow.
How old is Jake, by the way?
Who knows? I think he might be in his 30s, whatever, but he's not a young guy. He's not like as young as the other guy. And
he's not like that old. Like
he's not that old. He's not aging. He actually went into prison. Spoiler. Because he killed a man.
God damn.
I was thinking, how on earth he only come out 5 years? 5 years? What kind of
what color was his skin?
White man, of course.
Like back in the day, that changes.
Yeah. But you know what it is in these books, and sometimes a man with brunette hair is gonna be called darks. They're gonna be like, hey, there's that darky. Yeah, so like with Jake, the reason he went to prison because he killed a man by boxing him up, basically. So he was a prize fighter. Like he to earn his money, he's fight people in it. So he's well built. So he's very go with the flow, nonchalant. And then every time like the younger guy is saying like he's like complaining, basically whining, whatever, he's always got an answer for him, like in a very like stoic way. Like he's learned everything about the world, you know. So this guy's always saying, "Oh, like I wish we could do this forever." And then all the guys like, "Nothing's forever, bro. Like
Yeah.
you just have to accept the present." He keeps on kind of reiterating these kind of things, and then they eventually reach this other, I don't know where it was. It was in one of the mountains somewhere where there's a big lake, and then they. By the way, Jake is a bit of a ruffian, isn't it? So the old guy's a bit ruffian, so he looks a bit bummy, yeah. And then this guy obviously he's come from a rich family. He knows he's been raised with the silver spoon. Another one, another phrase. Yeah, so that guy's never taken the silver spoon out of his mouth ever. When he cooks, yeah. So they. Oh hell no!
God, that's
But yeah, so they find like a little lake, and then they try to chill because it's a very beautiful place and it's a nice little village. And they see that there's cruises going on around the lake, and then they say like, let's just jump on and do something a little bit different from all this hiking and whatnot we've been doing. It's been lovely, but let's do a little something different. Like see if we can meet some people, whatnot.
yeah.
And on the boat is just full of like rich people, like who are just like uptight and like they think they know the world, but they don't really. So Jake doesn't really chill with them. He's like, these aren't really my vibe, innit? But young G, it's like there's girls there.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh man, I gotta do my thing here. Yeah. So he's like, man, I've never been with a girl. So he's like, goes and chatting, he's networking with them and whatnot, and he's building a little relationship with a girl. And then, but he's noticing like, oh, he's not hanging out with my man anymore. Like he's not hanging out with Jake as much anymore and all this. And every time he sees Jake, he's like, oh, what's going on with you? Like, how come you're not doing anything? He's like, not really my people in it.
Yeah.
It's not that deep. So, but it's almost like his personality is kind of changing again, the younger guy, because he's like trying to warm to these people and he's kind of making them little snobby jokes and whatnot.
Yeah.
That kind of voice, you know. Yeah, exactly.
Hard forward a bit.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got 3 chimney sweepers at home. But yeah, so that kind of thing happens, and then he realizes he's going a bit distant from Jake, and then later on he realizes like, oh, that's not really me, man. Like eventually I'm gonna have to get out this cruise, and I don't really want to be with these people, innit? Like I liked my life with Jake in the mountains and all this stuff. I'd like to go back to it. So he's like to Jake, the annoying thing about this character is he's always like, oh, you don't like me, do you? You don't like me. He's always seeking an approval from always. So he every time like he sees Jake after a while, like he hasn't linked him for a while. He's like, oh, like you don't rate me anymore, do you? Like, and Jake's like, nah, bro, I still like you, bro. Like, it's not deep, man. Yeah, it's still my guy, man. And eventually he's like, oh, Jake, like, can we leave? Like, what can you do? And he's like, yeah, if you want, let's go. So Jake's literally like nonchalant about everything. So then they cut. They go to another little town in like Norway or something. I keep saying Norway, but they're going through all these different Scandinavian countries, and they're learning a lot. He's learning so much about the whole landscape and everything. And then they go down into this little city, and then they go into like an inn where they're just drinking whatever, and then they realize like, oh, something's wrong here, innit? Which is like interesting, because I feel like it's the first action scene that was written in the book. And then it's the first you see like something's going down, in it. Something's wrong, because everyone in the inn, there's like the hour's about to hit, everyone just leaves the bathroom, locks the doors, and there's just one guy who's sitting on the next table. He's looking mad shifty. And then Jake notices all of this stuff. He's like, what? Like, yo, Richard, have you noticed? Like, what's going on? He's like, obviously Jake's like, he's a man of the world, and he knows his stuff. And then like the other guy's just like, nah, but I'll just have a good time, man. What's going on? And then he's like, what? Where is everybody? And then Jake's like, yeah, it's something booky's going on. And Richard's like, oh, should we leave? Jake's like, nah, let's see. He wants some entertainment today, you know? Let's just see what's going on. So then these guys come in, and then they basically like, the idea is that the guy that was sitting there in the first place was on the table next to them. He must have owed them money or something. But they come to rough this guy up. They told him already, like, if you don't come with our money, we know where you like to chill, innit? Yeah, we're gonna come. Yeah, but everybody cleared out, because they know like whatever's gonna happen, it's gonna be illegal. Like the police are gonna get involved, they're gonna get in trouble. And then these guys come up to the 2 main characters, and they're like, yo, you better cut from here now, innit? Like, you don't want to see what's going on.
Go there.
Yeah, but Jake's like, nah, bro, I'm chilling, innit? Let me see. Let me see what's going on, what's cracking. But then they're like, nah, no witnesses, basically. Like, so they're not having it, basically. So then they're like, all right, say no more then. We're going to go lock the doors. You're going to be in here with us.
Yeah.
So then they try to start on them.
Mm.
And then the big fight breaks out. 2 people die. Not the main characters. 2 people die. The guy that was on the next table, he got.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
actually
Yeah, they did what they came to do. But one of their guys dies as well. Yeah. So they did what they came to do. And so then Jake and Richard, they be beating up and whatnot, but they've also done their thing, yeah.
Yeah.
But Richard just like, damn, this Jay guy is a madman. Still, finally saw the real guy, yeah. But Jake's like, oh my God, man. And like, because he felt like he learned his lesson from prison the first time. Like, man, I never wanted to kill a man before. Again, and whatnot. And then they have to escape, so they dash, and then they're like, "What the hell are we gonna do? Like, it's a small place, like people can find us easily." All right, they go to the docks. They're near the docks already, so they're like, "I say, no, there's a ship there. Let's see if we can go find a little job there." So they go and they find some rickety old ship. They find another job, and then they're like, "All right, say, no, let's sail." Blah blah blah. Big spoiler for anyone who wants to read this. Let's stop now. If it's sounding interesting to you so far. So for anyone who wants to read this, yeah. So
I mean, I guess I have to hear it.
Nah, you have to hear it. So this is 280 pages of pure waffle, bro. Like, there's a good story in there, but I feel like it's just too much. Like I wouldn't read it again, but yeah. And then so basically what happens? They board the ship. They're just finding like it's nowhere near as good as the Hedwig ship. Yeah. They're just like, well, go on for this ship. Like, and like nobody seems to care on the ship, bro. Like, the captain doesn't seem to care. Like he's just bored enough. He's taking too many breaks. Yeah. And they're going too close to that rocks and stuff. So they're thinking, what enough? So Jake's thinking, oh damn, it might be one of them ones. And Richard's like, what? One of what? And then Jake's like, like insurance is a thing in the shipping industry, and it might be that the ship was so old that the guy who owns it is just trying to claim insurance. So he might have just paid off the captain to just go do a risky job, and if the captain survives, he'll get a big cut of the insurance, basically. So that's what's going on, which happens to be the case, basically. But they don't clock until like there's a real storm. Captain is like in his cabin, like one eye. One eye open like this, and the ship crashes, and Jake dies. So Jake died just like that.
Not even heroically.
Yeah. Loss. I felt that loss myself. But my man survives. Somehow he's picked up, and he's somehow in France. He's washed up on the shore in France. People look after him.
Scandinavia.
Yeah.
He got washed up into.
No. But he was already on the.
There you go.
But anyways, yeah. So the people look after him. They take him to the embassy. He managed to get like a embassy passport. And he's thinking, oh, what am I gonna do now? Like my boy is dead. Like his world is shattered, basically. Like he's like, oh, I can't go back to my family. I don't love. Like there's no love there. Excuse me. And then he decides, let me just boot off a bit. The embassy actually give him some money, like just to figure things out for a little bit until he's back. And then like especially his dad's name is well known, so they're like, yo, it might be that guy's son, isn't it? So look after him. And then he just catches in Paris, and he's learning the ways, learning the streets, and he starts to write because he's always fancied himself a little bit of a writer, but he's always in the shadows of his father. And like even the things that he's written when he was like younger, it was just very childish, and like lewd, and his dad just was like, yo, this guy, he's a dusty writer. This kid, man, like, what did I birth, you know?
Like Ronaldo.
Yeah, it's like, but you know, when people say like, how can you hate on Subway when you're going there to make your own sandwich, you know? That's what I said to his dad, and that's how I felt. You raised that boy, man. But so he starts to write a bit, and then he's learning life in Paris. He's learning how to be a man by himself. And then he's still writing silly stuff, but the people in France, they love it. You know, they got this artistic nature. They like to do the flipping nude sculpting and whatnot. So that he gives them he's like a few French artists like talking in the pub or whatever, and then like he's just like, yo, these guys just they know nothing about this world. Like their art just sounds dead. And then he goes and he starts like he's like, you lot don't know nothing, basically. He's a bit drunk, so he's just like disparaging towards them. They're just like, get out of here, you dusty guy, innit? But he's like, nah, man, listen, I'm gonna tell you some real stuff right now. So he recites like a couple of his poems to them.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, you know? Yeah. So then they're like, I'll give you 300 right now.
Yeah,
if you write these poems for me. Yeah, and I'll give you credit.
Yeah.
So, he's holding like £5 there. He's like, oh, 300. That's like 300 pounds right now.
Yeah, just like
300 francs.
yeah.
He's like, that's a lot of drinking I could do. So he's like, nah, I'm not gonna degrade myself here. And they're like, they're like waving the notes. He's like, say no more. I'll do it for you. Here you go. And then now he's starting to think he's a good writer. So he's like, he's starting to take it a bit serious, you know. So he's out here going to cafes and stuff. He's writing every single day. And then he meets another girl. And he starts getting close with her. She's young as well. She's a bit younger than him. So, but she lives in like a convent. You know them like them nuns place where they just look after people, but they have like a curfew. So she can't come out with him every night. And so he's like, oh man, he becomes obsessive over her. So everything that he does, he's always obsessive over like, oh, what could be, like, what does this person think of me? But finally here, he feels like someone likes him just for who, like his personality, not for who he is or what he was, what he does. And he finally feels like he likes her, and then he starts taking his work seriously, and he's really like he feels like he's finally found balance in his life. So he's working hard. He's got a girl, but he's been very obsessive. So then after he's like, oh no, come move out and come move out and live with me. And yeah, man, we'll live a nice life. And then she leaves the convent. She starts living with him. And then he like writes a letter to his father, like, like I'm finally, like I think like things are finally starting to settle. This is the first time he spoke to his dad in years. I think finally settling down. Learned so much, blah blah blah. Like I don't want your acknowledgement anymore. I appreciate you and I appreciate your writing. But just if you could just write it back to me, just to acknowledge me, basically. He's always seeking acknowledgement.
Still seeking it,
yeah. And then, but he gets the letter back, and his heart's beating fast. And he's, oh, my dad finally might be giving me his acknowledgement in some kind of written format. But his dad didn't do nothing but send him a £500 note. There's a lot in that time. So like that money can get him far in it, but his dad didn't give him a word. Like, nothing more. And then he feels down about it, but he's like, I'm just gonna get cracking. And then, but his girl's starting to sulk. She's like, oh, you're not giving me enough time anymore, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, all right, say no more, I'll give you some more time, blah, blah, blah. And then he starts going out with her more, nightclubs, all this. But he's still balancing his writing a bit, but not enough. But eventually he finishes his book. But a few weeks before he finishes his book, his girl's starting to go out with other people. She's trying to enjoy herself a bit. And then he finishes his book, and she comes home one night. He's like, I finally did it. I finally finished. Like, I can finally be proud of myself. Finally have something that's worth writing, something that's accomplishment that I could present to people. And she's like, yeah, cool. She walks to the next room, gets changed, blah, blah, blah. He said, what? Is that it? Like, you know, and I like, come show some love to the boy. And she's like, man, like, it's good, isn't it? Like, it was what do you expect? He's very disappointed. And then he's like, all right, I'm going to go to London to publish it. She's like, cool. But like, please don't go in it. Like, I came here for you. I moved out for you, blah, blah, blah. Like, I still want you to, like, to give me your time, blah, blah, blah. He's like, no, I got a mission. I'm here. So, okay. So he goes to London. He tries to get it published. He goes to his dad's publisher. He doesn't try to go see his dad. He goes to his dad's publisher, and his dad's publisher rejects him. And he's just like, I'm sorry, man, but this old book, it just stinks of someone who's trying to seek approval. It just seems like you're in your father's shadow, always kind of right, like in a way that's like just trying to see if you can do something similar to him. It's not it. It's not it. I'm sorry, you're not a genius. You're not like your father. I'm telling you right now, because I don't want you to be disappointed later on in life. I'll got your best interests at heart. Like, I can help you get a nice job in the city as a banker or a friend. I'll give you a nice recommendation. Blah blah blah. He's like, damn it. Like, nah, man. All right, so I'm going back to Paris. He goes back to Paris. The girl's not there.
Well, she has nothing else to do.
Nothing else to do. But she
just came out of another room.
But she was a pianist.
Okay,
pianist, whatever you want to call it. She's trying to learn like how to become a piano player. But so she had a bit of a mission, but yeah, she basically leaves him because she's like, I told you not to leave. Like you're the one that got me into this life, and I just want to keep on living that life. Like I'm enjoying being with other people and whatnot. And you left without even writing to me or anything. So basically, and then on the same week, his dad dies. He gets the letter from the publisher who's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, man, your dad died." Like, for the funeral and whatnot. So he's like, he's lost Jake, he's lost his girl, he's lost his dad. Rock bottom. His book is not sold. So he's fuming basically. And then that's pretty much it. Like the story kind of wraps up there, but it just kind of wraps up in his thinking. It's like there's nothing permanent about life. Like people come, people go, and maybe I just have to accept who I am. I just have to accept that maybe I'm not a genius, but I can just continue living life. And it kind of ends in the quote of the book, which the name of the book, which is very interesting. I'll never be young again, which is like a phrase that he heard from Jake. Jake once was like, you're always flipping thinking about things all the time, like this bird that's flying in the air right now, like tweeting, like maybe it sounds so mournful at times, but it sounds so happy at times. Maybe it's saying I'll never be young again. Maybe I'll never be young again. That's what the bird is saying. And the idea that it could be saying that in a good way, like, I'll never be young again. But that's good because I've learned so many lessons and I'm happy with where I am. Or it could be saying I'll never be young again in like a mournful way, like, oh, I've got so much regret and whatnot. And he's just like, don't be like that bird, basically. And then the book ends in him saying Jake's phrase, like because he heard a bird. He's like, oh, like this is the kind of stuff like I don't need to be thinking about it. Like live in the present, basically. And that's pretty much how the book ends. So it's a strong book, I have to say. It matches up with the word, the name of the book. So this is Jake, and this is the main character with his girl, basically. Oh, you see like, in the shadows, basically. Yeah. But I would say I enjoyed it, but I didn't like the guy, man.
Would you give it out of 10?
Character was jarring. Would I give it out of 10? 7. Okay. Mainly because of the length of the book and how jarring the character was. He was just too whiny. But like the overall story, like him going on all these voyages and like the way they described the world building was actually very like it was like him being on the ship and the storms. Like you can almost imagine it, you know? And like his relationship with his dad. Like there was so much philosophy there that was just talking about the idea of seeking approval from people all the time, the passage of time, like where you accept where you are in life and whether you're a genius or not. Like every idea isn't going to be a great one at the end of the day. So so it's just about kind of acceptance and coming of age. But I would say the main thing that bothered me as well, it really felt like a woman trying to talk like a man does. Like a woman who's imagining what a boy would be feeling. But you can still feel like this boy is pretty feminine. Like it felt a lot like that, you know? And like all the other characters, they weren't as fleshed out as the main character because it felt very straightforward. Like Jake was very stoic and blah blah blah. His dad was very like just blunt and stubborn, like blunt and like distant and whatnot. So like all these things, like the writer, it just felt like she didn't really know the real thoughts of a man. I would say it felt too much like someone who's trying to understand what a man thinks, but doesn't really quite get it. Especially the dialogue. Sounds very much like a little girl who's just crying all the time. So that's the main like thing that I had issue. But it was a good book.
It was an absolute review, that one. That's off for the boy. Man. I can't actually take this.
Oh mate, neither do I. Not today.
What head?
Not today, mate. Next year I go we for the event.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but it was.
Well,
wait. How did it sound to you? This book? No, I know I said it.
Interesting. I mean, it fizzled off at the end. Even by a tone. Like, at the beginning, you were very animated. You know, you really liked the start, and towards the end, it's like, perhaps not there. I mean,
literally
embarrassing. Like, God damn.
I think because she was just trying to show us like he was rock bottom. He had so much loss. So he just like what else is he gonna do? Is he just gonna keep on dwelling on things all the time? Like
I think that's what it is in stories.
Exactly.
Accept it, but sometimes it's not like a beautiful end. Sometimes it's not a tragic end. Sometimes it's just kind of like this is what life is. You know what I mean? You're always gonna win. You know,
the name of the book like really came across at the end with that last quote, so it was nice.
Absolutely. But to get on with,
put that picture up close on the camera, man. That back picture on the book, the back cover.
I ain't trying to scare the people.
It looks like Gandhi just kind of got beaten up or something.
Gandhi that was left out to dry for too long. That's what that is. But yeah, so the Painted Veil. Wow, what a book!
How
Yeah,
long did it take you to read it? First of all,
to be fair, not that long.
yeah.
It was only like
How many pages?
230,
Yeah,
something like
that
that.
was like 280. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I banged out, I think, like 100 pages in a day
Hmm.
because it really, you know, sometimes when it's cooking,
Yeah, yeah,
it really started to cook.
yeah.
So basically, this is a book that starts off in such a frivolous nature that I couldn't put it down. Of course, there was a good old extramarital affairs that was happening at the start.
You bloody well right at the beginning.
Right at the start. So there's
Between who?
two people that obviously were very much in love with each other,
Mhm.
and then they hear some footsteps and the door knob like creaking, but it doesn't open. And then she jumps up. Oh my god, I think that's my husband. And he's like, "This, why did you invite me over if your husband was?" And she's like, "This, yeah, it doesn't usually come at tiffin," which I was like, "What the hell is
Tiffin.
tiffin?" So I think it's like around afternoon, like 1, 2-ish kind of time.
Mhm.
And he's like, "This, oh, this, you stupid." Like he was upset with her, like, "Why did you not all this?"
Yeah.
But anyways, nobody opened the door.
Yeah, yeah.
But they were still shaking up and whatnot. And then the guy tells her, "Okay, calm down. You see, it's no one. It's probably just they live in Hong Kong
Mhm.
at this point when the British colony was over there, right? So they've got Chinese workers everywhere. She's living a very much lavish lifestyle where she is, right, with her actual husband. And this guy is telling her, like, just calm. I mean, if it was him, he would have got angry and opened the door. He knows somebody's here. I mean, my hat's downstairs,
Mhm.
but he didn't open the door, so it's clearly not him. Maybe it was just one of the worker boys.
Hmm.
And furthermore, if it was him, I mean, what's he gonna do?
Yeah,
Hey, he's a proper cocky guy.
yeah.
And I think it's opposite to what you were saying about a woman writing in a man's perspective. This is a man writing in a woman's perspective.
Okay.
And it was very much ditzy the way that um, Scott Fitzgerald wrote about Gatsby's lover, which I forgot her name, Kate.
Yeah, yeah.
Her name was Katie. This girl's called Katie.
Mm.
It was like, oh yes, you're so right.
Yeah.
And like fell into his arms, his macho masculine arms. You know? And she was like this, yeah, what's the worst that could happen? If it was him, well, he can divorce me and then we'll be together.
Mm.
And if he says something, but if he doesn't say anything,
Mm.
what's the problem? And if he does say something and he gets it, then obviously you can come back. The thing, he's like, this, of course, I'll never let you down.
Mm.
This guy called Charlie, and he's like golf. He's a polo player, and he's like proper like macho. Apparently good at everything. So she's like head over heels.
Who did you see as like if you put him in a physical world, who would it be as an actor or like would it be like a David Beckham?
Nah, I think David Beckham, his nature's quite sound.
Too peaceful.
Yeah, he's a nice guy, Dave.
Like John Terry, yeah.
Yeah, literally, yeah. Perfect. But John Terry, because John Terry's got a slime about him.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a slime, but you wouldn't trust him with your sister.
I would never.
You know
trust
what I mean?
Terry.
That kind of vibe.
Hell no.
So funny enough, it was actually made into a movie where her actual husband, Walter, was played by Edward Norton.
Oh, so
Yeah, so this is actually quite a famous book, low-key.
mm.
So anyways, yeah, so she's now like the guy leaves, whatnot, back together again with the husband. And the husband now is acting very strange with her, you know? And then but before we get to that, it was just hella pages of her like history. Where she married this guy not because she actually loves him, but because she had to. She had a younger sister that got married before her, and she's older. She's 25, and so she would be considered second rate. So she was like, well, I'm getting to a point where I'm not being picked.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got to find someone.
Mm-hmm.
And then she meets this guy. He comes to the dance, but he can barely speak to her, barely look at her. He's so like overcome with shyness that she almost thinks he's not really human. But he's the first guy that's like showed her over affection because that level of affection is starting to dwindle, you know? And then one day he's like, in a very shy way, I don't know how to tell you this, but do you think, well, maybe would you, if you're free, to marry me?
Yeah.
And she was like, what? And She was like, he didn't give her a chance to even think about it. He was just staring at her, waiting for the answer to come.
Yeah.
And then that's when she was starting musing over it a bit. And she was like, you know what, actually, he does earn money and he does live in the colony. He does have a home. And, you know, like, what's the chances I'll get someone better than him if I wait another 2 years at that point, you know, 27. And then so she was like, yeah, sure. Why not? I don't care. Let's do it. And he was like so happy with her. So he loved this girl. He would never go to sleep without giving her a kiss on the head and all this other kind of stuff. Gifts every second, and she got bored of that. She was like, I'm tired of like.
You gave her too much too soon, huh?
Yeah, and she's like, this is too much. But the other guy is like, you can't reach him sometimes.
Okay.
Like, oh, I'm sorry.
You mean?
Sorry, love. I'm
Even key.
working here.
Yeah.
Sorry, love. I'm working there. And when he's free, he takes it somewhere nice and all this other kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, she comes back. He comes home and whatnot. He's like, I have to leave for a few days, and she's like, this okay. Doesn't look at her. Leaves. Comes back. Then he's like, this. Let's have dinner. And she's like, this okay. Doesn't look at her, doesn't give her that good night kiss that she was used to. None of this, right? And so she starts panicking. She basically is like, okay, I think this guy knows. And she was working herself up to like, okay, the next time we talk, I'm going to tell him we're divorcing. And then the time comes and she can't do it. She's shaken up. What she does is he goes to sleep. The next day she calls the man. And she tells him,
John Terry.
Let's meet up. Yeah, John Terry. His name is Townsend.
Oh.
She tells him, let's meet up. Right. And then he's like, all right, yeah, sure. And then he speaks to her. She's like, I think he knows. He's like, this, well, how? And she tells him, like, you know, the signs and whatnot. And then she's like, what she was going to say was she was going to tell her husband, I'm going to divorce you because I have somebody that wants me and all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They would say, okay, worst comes to worst, he divorces you, it's fine because you'll be free. I'll divorce my wife. We come together.
Yeah.
Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, one of them ones.
Can't have a scandal. So let's just amicably like break off both sides. Okay?
Yeah.
And so she's like this, yeah, I'm going to tell him I want to divorce you and I'm marrying this other guy, you know? But she never got the chance to say that. So he tells her, you didn't tell him that we were having an affair, right?
Yeah.
Turns out she did tell him because what he did was he told her, come to the next room. And he's like this, I'm not as stupid as you think I am. You have been having an affair with this guy and have enough evidence to scandalize both of you guys.
Yeah.
Right? So what I'm going to do is give you this opportunity, which is I will divorce you for free. No qualms, nothing.
Yeah.
But only if he divorces his wife.
Yeah.
Other than that, you're coming with me to some next to a place called Maytang Pay or something, which because he works in the government like science department, and there was a cholera epidemic that was happening.
Okay.
And so he's going to the epicenter.
Is it set in the 1920s?
Yeah, I don't know when this was. Right. It was published, but around that time, innit?
Okay.
So he's going to the epicenter. Right, so at this point, he's going to Wuhan, essentially, for COVID. That's where my boy's going. He's like, bro, I'm going to die if I go there. I'm going to learn Chinese. And he's like, well, that's where you're coming with me.
All in Hong Kong?
Yeah.
Mad.
No, but the other part is another place in China.
Oh, okay, fair.
And he's like this, that's you're coming with me unless he gives you that divorce.
Yeah.
And she's like this, okay. Then I'll be rid of you. I never loved you anyway. Bun you.
God damn.
I'm going to marry this guy, bro. Thank you for giving me this fantastic opportunity. So now we come to her having this meeting with John Terry.
Yeah.
And John Terry is telling her, oh, this is a fantastic deal. He's like, this is right.
Yeah.
Like, so you're going to go with him?
Yeah.
And she's like, what? No, I was going to, he's like, yeah, you got to go with him. And you can never tell him that we're having an affair. This will scandalize both of us. And she's like this, yeah, I did tell him. She basically lies because she realizes that, okay, maybe this guy isn't feeling her as much. And then she's like, well, I mean, but offer is there. Like, I mean, you could divorce your wife like you said you would, and I could divorce him and we would be together. He's like, yeah, that can't happen. And you know it can't happen. And she's like, this, why can't it happen? He's like, well, I mean, I like my wife.
God damn.
I mean, we don't have intimacy and all this kind of stuff. But she's quite smart and we're good friends.
She's still cool, yeah.
Yeah, she's still cool. I mean, I've got a kid to
He's
look
got
up.
hands in both hands, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, you understand, don't you?
Yeah.
And she's like this, but I'm going to die if I go to this place.
Yeah.
And he's like this. Well, I mean, to be honest, I think we've been let off quite clear.
Oh.
He's like, what? Like, you'd actually allow me to die instead of divorcing your wife and being together.
Yeah.
And he's like this. Well, I mean, I think, and then this one he says a quote of like, you know, us men sometimes when we're in love, we say things that
Yeah.
times we don't mean.
Yeah.
And she was like, what? And she starts crying, bawling and whatnot.
Yeah.
And then she goes back home and then she sees the Watson guy and he's sitting there smug, right? Because
What,
you know
Nolan?
what just happened between that meeting.
The husband, you mean?
The actual husband, yeah. And because she would always ask him, like in a playful way, oh, what about Townsend? How's he? Like, is he all right? He's like this, he's not as good as people say he is. He's actually quite a dumb guy. Like, she thought he was just play hating.
Yeah.
And he was like he's, I think mostly he's just led on by a very smart wife, you know? And she's like this, all right, yeah, whatever. I mean, he doesn't even love his wife. We're going to be together, you know? So anyways, he's there smirking like, so what's the news? And then she's like, you're a sick man. And he's like, why am I a sick man? And this is the first time you actually see more from this guy.
Yeah.
The whole time he was like this weird guy.
Yeah.
But now like because everybody speaks highly of him, but she doesn't understand why. Because she's like, he doesn't talk. And everyone's like, what do you mean he doesn't talk? Of course he does. He's actually quite calculated and quite smart.
Yeah.
So now we're seeing the plays that he's running. You're a sick man. You knew he was going to do that. And he was like this, well, I mean, men aren't what you think they are and all this other kind of stuff. And then he's like, so he asked you to come with me. And she was like this, yeah. So you know he's willing to put your life on the line for that. And then she basically is like, oh, what? So is this like a big ruse for you to try and get me back or something? He's like, no, I hate you.
Yeah.
Like I actually hate you.
A rap, yeah.
But you're coming with me to this place now because he's not going to give you the divorce because he needs his wife over you, you know? And so she's like,
you didn't come with him?
no, he had the bags ready.
Oh, okay.
Because he knew what was about to.
He's got to do what he does.
Yeah, she's like, you know what? Fine, I'll come. Like, she's very like, kind of like that guy you were talking about, Richard. Oh, I don't care if I die. Yeah. So she's like, I don't care. I hope I die up there.
God damn.
And so she goes and whatnot. And yeah, and then she meets one other guy, and he's telling her about this Townsend guy. He's a crook, he's slimy, he's a fraud, this and that. It's his wife that's helping him out.
Yeah.
All this other cast, I follow you. Like, he's very charming though.
Yeah.
That's all he's got, charm and nothing else, nothing to back his words. Whereas Watson you have is the man.
Yeah.
Like everybody here, nobody will touch this place except him.
Yeah.
But he's doing it for the people, essentially. You know? But she doesn't want to hear this.
Yeah.
Like, what?
He's already signed up.
Yeah. And then but as the time goes on, she like goes to a convent as well, and she works with some nunneries and all this other kind of stuff in orphanages and
What, in that place?
in that place, yeah, because there was some French people helping the people in that area, and people just dying left, right, center.
Yeah.
She walks outside, some guys just on the floor, just out. I don't know how cholera was spreading.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But anyways, yeah, and then as time goes on and progresses, like they don't come together, like as in romantically again, but she starts to like understand what her husband does and appreciate him more, and like he's showing her things without telling her to actually do it. She's like kind of angling and aligning things and events that happen so that she can see it herself, like kind of what the world is.
Yeah.
That isn't like full of Prince Charmings and all this other kind of stuff. And sometimes it's not the prettiest places, but it's about people that constantly show up,
The heart.
like the nunneries and this guy that's coming up the hill as well that sees them, and him now being at the epicenter. It's like, it's not always going to be the beautiful things, but it's the people that will turn up for you every single time. You know what I mean? Those are the people that you should actually try to align yourself with. And then she's like, this, damn, I understand. And then Paul's pregnant. But yeah, man, she got a software update.
God damn.
But she doesn't know.
That is a crazy thing to say. Yeah.
She doesn't know hardware update. But she doesn't know.
Yeah. That's even crazier.
I mean, I guess it's a physical change, rather than a mental kind of.
Yeah.
So, but she doesn't know who the baby daddy is.
Whoa.
You know what I mean? This was before Jeremy Kyle was here to sort it out.
Yeah.
So she doesn't know who it belongs to, this and that, whatnot.
She's getting it. She's getting in the epicenter.
Nah, not that. This is before. This could be either John Terry or the
John Terry.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The hardware update happened later.
Oh, okay.
It's on the track.
Okay.
And then, so as they're kind of like getting mutual understanding and respect, and she's actually starting to respect the guy more and understanding who he is and what he actually does. Because before that, she used to just laugh at his job, like he's a bacteriologist or something.
Yeah.
Whereas Townsend was like about to be the head of the colony, you know. But turns out that this Townsend guy was about to lose his job, whatnot, because he was falling out of favor. This Watson guy was then becoming good friends with the secretary of actual China, and then was going to possibly be reinstated with the colony. So he was probably going to get a bigger job than Townsend.
Yeah.
But spoiler alert. So if you want to stop here.
Yeah.
The boy
Who wants to read it?
The boy gets hit with cholera.
Watson.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew it was coming.
Yeah, he gets hit with cholera and he passes away.
Yeah.
And then that affects her, not in like a grieving widow kind of sense, but like in a sense of like lack of understanding him, you know? And then she leaves the place, comes back, and who's waiting for her at the bottom of the hill? Mr. John Terry himself.
Of course.
But he doesn't come, the funny thing is he doesn't come back. He doesn't come back like, I've divorced my wife, let's sort it out.
Yeah, he just come back like,
what are you saying?
Round two.
What are you saying? I'm side of your bed still.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sorry about your husband. I mean, surely now, maybe, you know?
The shoulder to cry out.
And she is still looking for an affair, not even giving her the grace of like potentially marriage.
Yeah.
She's like, bro, get out of my face.
Yeah.
Damn. Hell out of my face.
Oh, mate.
You know what I mean? Like a Ryan Giggs as well. Ryan Giggs is that kind.
Yeah.
She's like, get out of my face. And he's like, well, come on, man. I sure you don't want to, you know, flexing the muscles, you know? And she's like this. But before, that would work on her because she was asking herself, she was like, the husband knew that I don't love him as much as he loves me. And that his happiness would be when I would like actually laugh at one of his jokes or something. So maybe he loves me despite the lack of love coming from that side.
Right.
Like from her to him, you know, unrequited love. So she was saying at the start, well, he might not love me, this John Terry guy, but I love him. And that should be enough, you know, like, so she's kind of being put in that same position that Watson was in with her, but she's now in it with Townsend. So she kind of understands it's a horrible position to put yourself in.
Yeah.
So she's like, I'm not having none of that. Get the hell out. Like, life isn't about that. She changes from her ditzy self to like kind of having more perspective on things and like how people treat you and all this other kind of stuff. And then she has a baby. And then she goes back to London to her pops and like brings up the baby and like starts teaching him like values that actually matter, and society isn't what you think it is just because somebody is out here muscled up riding a polo and playing polo and getting a stallion and this kind of stuff. Doesn't mean that this is the top cheese. You know, it's about what's on the inside.
Your phrases are getting worse than mine, but we're going.
You know, but it's about what's on the inside.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it was that was a very valuable point that I took from. Sometimes it's about sifting through the mist, and seeing what is the actual substance behind. You know what I mean.
So do you feel like your story had there was a moral being painted by the author, like directly?
The painted veil is that. It's basically like we choose what our veil is going to be. like it's
I guess we're painting it ourselves.
yeah, with like it could be dazzling and all this other kind of stuff, but what's behind it? You know, who's the person like afterwards?
Interesting.
And the fact that you had the contrasting, like fully charming guy, wonderful thing you'd think is the best in the world,
Yeah.
was actually the most sick and twisted on the inside.
Yeah, yeah.
Compared to someone that was more reserved, quiet, but would take a bullet for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you know the beat it chick meme?
Yeah?
Do you know the beat it chick meme?
The beat it chick meme? Nah.
Yeah, let's go. In like high school, and there's a guy with the books, and he's like, "Ah, continue to brown." But it's like a meme with a picture, and then she's like, "Nah, she's going with the big guy, like the jock." And then later on, he's like, he's in a suit. The guy's in a suit, and then he's like, uptight like this.
Yeah.
And she's like, she's going back to him with the baby and stuff, and then he's like, "Meet a chick." You don't know that meme?
Yeah, I know that meme, but I've seen it in different iterations.
Yeah.
It was a bus stop with like a baby in a pram.
Yeah, the one I haven't seen for a while, for a few years, that lady walking up the stairs. You know, there's a new year, new me. And there's like a lady walking up the stairs, and behind her is like 2024, my old friends only. You don't know that one?
Nah, I got that.
Enough of that.
I got a job.
What? Hey, enough of that.
I'm employed, brother.
Easy. You're about to send me a job application, yeah? Anyways, what would you rate yours out of 10?
But on that bombshell, I would say I'll definitely give this a solid 8 out of 10.
8? That's strong, you know?
That's strong. It's a short. I mean, it's like, if we're kind of into that kind of stuff, I mean, there's a lot of hella like filler stuff going on. But like the overall meaning and the thing, like I really love the interactions between her and Watson. I was getting a kick out of it every time he gives a little.
You feel like there's some real like strong dialogue.
Oh yeah. Because of the way he stacked the cups. Remember from Matthew Dix? He stacked the cups so well. I guess all that long ass chapter stuff helped because now like his actions all make sense.
Yeah.
So it's like every time he gave a snide remark, every time he, you know what I mean, she was upset with him because he was showing her life. It was like, oh, this is very rewarding almost.
Here's another question. Like, what would you rate it as on an easy to read scale for the average reader? Because mine, like 10 being tough to read and 0 being easy to read.
Yeah.
This was like a 9. Tough to read.
Yeah, okay.
Like,
I wouldn't.
You gotta keep your attention locked in.
4.
Yeah, that's pretty calm.
It's pretty calm because I think the first maybe 30, 40 pages, you gotta slodge through that one.
Yeah.
But after that, the moment he finds out, like the moment he's like, yeah, I knew you were cheating. I ain't stupid. Then you're like, oh, this guy.
It came alive, huh?
And then from there on, bro, I was out here hooked. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
Yeah, so it was a very
I think the settings are very interesting as well. Hong Kong,
yeah.
Did they describe that much or like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But not too much, you know. Certain parts that needed to be.
I would say like for me the best dialogue was between Jake. Like Jake was the G. Like I enjoyed that dialogue.
Yeah.
And I think she wrote that character well. So I was like seeing how well he was written, and it wasn't like a just generic mentor figure. He was actually pretty cool. He had personality about him.
Yeah.
And then the way the main character was written, I was like, what the hell? Like shit. I don't get it, man.
Ellie.
Yeah, for real. What the hell, Deontay? But I would never be young again. I would say the name knocked it out of the park. That was a great little quote.
Absolutely.
What would you say about yours? Your book cover and to close up.
I think it's a good summary of like the type of people that were in the in the
What about the art itself? Like, it just seems so plain to me.
Nah, it's got that little abstract.
Okay, fair enough. Can't read too much into it. Keep the imagination.
That's what drove me to it, because it was kind of like, what would this be about? It was the pick of the lot.
Yeah.
Shot in the dark, and it came out well.
I would say I agree. I think it was an interesting exercise. I'm looking forward to the next one. I'm hoping we have a guest with us for the next one. Maybe go somewhere else.
I mean, like usually sometimes like trying out in a new restaurant.
Yeah.
Usually trying, you actually feel like, oh, this is kind of nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's what this was. Otherwise, usually I'll pick books that I know from the Watsons.
But yeah, man, it's the big world of literature, man. There's so many books out there to read, so many stories. Like you had a completely different stories from me, Shamaki. But yours seemed like love was a lot of the big focus. Love and the nature of the man and woman, I guess. Whereas mine was more about like just being present in time and not being too self-critical and not seeking acknowledgement too much from other people. Find your approval within,
Mm.
basically.
I'll say it was a bit more than just love man or woman.
Nah.
My one was about there's more to people
Yeah.
than meets the eye.
Yes.
There's more behind the veil.
I should have let you do that from the beginning.
Man or
Yeah,
woman.
but that's why you're here. That's why you're here to defend your book. Yeah, it's been an interesting episode, and I'm hoping to do more like these in the future. And then with the book club, we're gonna be trying to do that on a monthly basis. For this month's book, which Sharkz has got it in his hand,
Malcolm X. I mean, I would try to front, but it's been
the autobiography of Malcolm X. Great book, and leave us some. So if you're listening for the next book club, if you're interested, leave us some suggestions for books you want us to cover. And for anyone who's joining the book club, we will see you there, and we look forward to meeting you all. Thank you very much for listening. It's been your boys, Mohamed and Shamaki, on the Paper Trails podcast.